All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to apostles of Great Millstone and salutations to the elect, which we hope to be. Now, it's your brother Hawaii from GMS Chicago. Got a quick little lesson for you Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, Puerto Ricans, and confusion of faces whose bloodline go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whose spirit bear witness that they are a child of the Heavenly Father. In the name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, who the world inly calls Jehovah God. In the name of the Heavenly Son is Yahweh Shai, who the world inly calls Jesus Christ, or Jesus Christos, or Yeshua, Yeshua, or Yahweh. And pretty much, this is going into the fact that we ain't free. You know what I'm saying? Even for the false sense of freedom that you get to go outside to convenience store, you know what I'm saying? That you get to go visit a family member or a friend outside the state, you know what I'm saying? Or even going out of seas. There's a process to how they do things in this society that shows that we're not free, And this is, I want to start off with Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou would not hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So since we ain't follow the law, statutes, commandments, the Lord had put curses upon us. You know what I'm saying? Because here it is, the Lord had made a covenant. Now the word for covenant is agreement with the nation of Israel. You know what I'm saying? But the nation of Israel was the ones who broke the covenant. So pretty much in an agreement or any type of deal, you know what I'm saying? If you break the deal, consequences come. So the curses was a consequence for the nation of Israel breaking the deal with Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, for breaking the covenant. Verse 16, it says, cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. According to Matthew 13 and 8, you know what I'm saying? The field would be considered the world. You know what I'm saying? Cursed shalt thou be in the city. That's just talking about you in whatever province that you in, whatever area, because I think it's the police department where they got certain districts set up where certain police officers got to be stationed and work in. You know what I'm saying? Those different districts are different provinces. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's one entire whole province, but it's like been sectioned up. You know what I'm saying? Wherever, because like certain neighborhoods that are called villages, you know what I'm saying? Or different projects that they be setting up, this, that, and the other, different names, that pretty much be the city, you know what I'm saying? Wherever you station that, it says, and cursed shalt thou be in the field, you know what I'm saying? And that field means the world, man. Meaning that you could be in Chicago, and then next thing you know, you want to move to Brazil, you know what I'm saying? Whatever curses you had in Chicago, you're going to have the same curses hitting you down there in Brazil, This is Deuteronomy 28 and 43. It says, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. And remember, these are curses that the Lord had put on the nation of Israel. You know what I'm saying? So when it says a stranger, it's talking about a heathen, like a Caucasian or Arabian or East Indian or Chinese or Japanese. You know what I'm saying? Those will be considered heathens that are not confusion of faces. So that means that there's, even till this day, there's confusion of faces that, like, say down in China, right? And in China, you'll have two people that look like they're Chinese, but one is going to be suffering the curses. Why? Because that's what a confusion of face is. A Hellenistic Jew, a Jew who don't know that they are a Jew, and what kind of helps what helps is that if their physical appearance as it looks like another heathen or a heathen. It says the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low, meaning who's gonna have more power? You know what I'm saying? The heathens have more power. You know what I'm saying? Because this is their rulership. But when it comes down to Jake, we're the ones who's at the bottom. You know, we're the ones who consume but don't make money off the consumption. You know, verse 44, it says, he shall lend to thee and thou shalt not lend to him. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got that old saying, it's like whoever controls the money controls everything, right? You know what I'm saying? Well, the heathens are the ones who's in control of the money. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no Negroes, no so-called Negroes, no so-called Mexicans, no so-called Native American Indians, nor so-called Puerto Ricans. They're not giving out loans. They're not the ones who have the power and stability to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's the heathens. You know, these rich Jewish banking families, like the Rothschilds or the Gettys or the DuPonts. You know what I'm saying? The Oppenheimers or something like that. That popped in my head, but Oppenheimers, you know, they own these rich banking, I mean, they own these banks, you know what I'm saying? So they're the ones who's going to lend us. It says, he shall be the head and thou shalt be the tail. So when it comes down to power structure, you already know who controls the world. Like it says in Joel 8, 9 and 24, 8 and 24, it says, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where or who is he? You know what I'm saying? So guess what? It's showing you that the heathen, who are considered wicked, because the law, statutes, commandments was not given unto them to not be wicked, you know, that they are the ones who controls everything. You know, it says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy power to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. Right? Verse 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. You know what I'm saying? And with these curses clinging onto us like white on rice, it's a sign that who the Lord had made a covenant with. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's a sign to let you know who the nation of Israel is, you know. Verse 47, it says, because thou servest not the Lord thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee. You know what I'm saying? It says, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness. So no matter food, water, juice, you know what I'm saying? It's always going to be a heathen, you know? And even so, if you might see a Jake, he might be the, store clerk or, he might be the store clerk or the worker that helps, you know what I'm saying? A cashier, bagger, this, that, and the other and stuff, manager, you know, superintendent, whatever and stuff. But the thing is that it ain't Jake who's ultimately providing other Jakes with food, water, and clothing. It's the heathen. You know what I'm saying? Even in the hood, you'll have the Arabians who are really Ishmaelites. You know what I'm saying? That's their true nationality, name of their true nationality, or what they really call Ishmaelites. But the Arabians, what used to so-called Arabians, they usually own the clothing stores where you can get your Pelly. You know what I'm saying? Get your Jenny Craig. You know, your Coogee. I don't think anybody wear Coogees anymore. You know, your Levi's, the different clothing brands, you know what I'm saying? You know, the True Religions, this, that, the other, they usually be the ones who control that. And then you could also see Ishmael. There'll probably be, you'll see Elam, which is East Indian, and they'll be working in Subway, making your sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? Or you'll have, you'll have them in JJ's Fish, you know what I'm saying? Or even working at the gas station. You know, it says, so we're not providing our own things. We got to go to another, right? It says, and in want of all things. So anything that we want, you know what I'm saying? If you live in a house, you're gonna need tables, you're gonna need chairs, you're gonna need a couch. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're gonna need a AC, you know, you're gonna need heat, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna need a refrigerator, you're gonna need, you know, certain things, certain appliances to the houses and stuff. But the thing is that you're not getting it from another Jake. You're ultimately getting it from a heathen, right? Verse it says, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. You know what I'm saying? And what is the mark? Because like back then with the yoke, you know what I'm saying, it's to make sure you couldn't really go nowhere or have no freedom. You know what I'm saying? The yoke will either be bulky, where it'd be like a bell around, you know what I'm saying, like it's a bell on top, you know what I'm saying, where you can't reach, you know, yoke of iron that got a long string and stuff where it had a bell, and you know you couldn't reach it. So if you try to run away, they'll be able to capture you, they'll hear you and stuff. And they also had other yokes where it was like these wide hooks on there and stuff where it's like it'll be too hard for you to run, or you can get caught up between some trees. You know what I'm saying? So you wouldn't pretty much move freely. You know what I'm saying? So the modern day yoke would be the IDs and the social security cards. You know what I'm saying? Birth certificates. You know what I'm saying? Voters registration, I guess, maybe. You know, but pretty much towards the ID and the social security card. That's because without those, you ain't crossing no border. You know what I'm saying? You come to a search station, this, that, and the other and stuff, you ain't crossing no border. You know, they gonna stop you in your tracks. Shows that you're not free. You know, you might think you're free just because you can go to convenience store, this, that, and the other and stuff, but you're not. You know, because you got to take certain protocols just so you can cross into these different lands, and it shows that you're not free. You know. It says until he had destroyed thee, because Jake nowadays, how they destroy, because they cool with it. They be like, oh, this is what it is and stuff. You know, this is the law of the land. You know, but they don't. But and they cool with how things are. You know what I'm saying? Scripture also says that the Lord will smite thee with madness, man. You know, and that's part of that madness, that they really think that it's okay to be in a false sense of freedom. They've been told that they're free, but really they're not, because they got to have certain things with them, certain appliances, just so they can cross the border, you know, into another part of the land, you know, or to go overseas, or for the fact that you got to have some sort of like registration, you know, to go out into a forest preserve, you know what I'm saying, or to be able to be able to hunt, or to chop down trees, or you know, you gotta have all this paperwork to do anything. You know what I'm saying? We ain't free at all. This is Matthew chapter 17, verse 24. It says, and when they were come to Capernaum, they that received tribute money came to Peter and said, doeth not your master pay tribute? You know what I'm saying? And this was the time of the Romans. You know what I'm saying? It says, verse 25, it says, he saith, yes, and when he was come into the house, Yahushua prevented him, saying, what thinkest thou, Simon? Whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? You know what I'm saying? You know, what ways, custom meaning what ways, you know what I'm saying? How they set their society standards. And it says in tribute, you know, when you go into that word tribute, it's the coin with which the tax is paid tribute money. You know what I'm saying? You know, it says census among the Romans, denoting a register and valuation of property in accordance with which taxes were paid. In the New Testament, the tax or tribute levied on individuals and to be paid yearly, a caption or poll tax. You know, so pretty much when people was asking if Yahushua paid taxes, you know what I'm saying? And that's also how you could tell the ones that call themselves Israelis or claim to be Jewish. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's how you know they're not the real Jews, because according to the law, you're not supposed to usurp usury upon your neighbor, and a neighbor underneath the Israelites would be another Israelite. You know what I'm saying? You know, you could have Esau living right next to you and stuff. You know, you could live in a certain province and stuff, and you have Esau as your next door neighbor, but he wouldn't be considered your neighbor according to the scriptures. Your neighbor would be another Israelite. Their neighbor would be another Caucasian. You know what I'm saying? Or heathen, whatever. You know, yeah, you're not supposed to use up usury, and that's pretty much putting tax. You know what I'm saying? If I sell you a phone, I'm not supposed to put tax. I'm not supposed to tax you. You're with it. You know what I'm saying? Taxes will only go into outside the nation of Israel, meaning the Caucasians, the Edomites, to the Arabians, which are the Ishmaelites. You know what I'm saying? The Ammonites, which are the Japanese. The Moabites would be the Chinese. You know what I'm saying? They'll be the ones that I will tax. You know what I'm saying? Because they outside the law, statute, commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And it also proves that the Amalekites, the Jewish, the Israelis are not the real Jews, because they tax their own countrymen. They tax their own nation. They tax this other Edomites that's in lower standards, and what do? They're taxes. They gotta pay taxes. They buy them a peanut butter brittle bar or something, a peanut brittle or some chips. You know what I'm saying? They could get one bag of chips for 59 cents, and they'll still have to pay that tax. And that's how you know they're not the real Jews, because they're not keeping that law. It says, I'll read again. This is Matthew 17:25. It says, he saith, yes, and when he was come into the house, Yahushua prevented him, saying, what thinkest thou, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Of their own children or of strangers? Peter said unto him, of strangers. Yahushua saith unto him, then are the children free? You know what I'm saying? So he's like, are they free? You know, if they're not following the ways, law, statute, commandments and stuff, and they following another custom, you know what I'm saying? And get, you know, then that means that that we're still the tail and not the head, man. You know, you got a king and a subordinate. You know what I'm saying? The subordinate would be the ones that's a tail, and the king will be the one that's a head. You know what I'm saying? So it means that the king has charge over the subordinate, you know, that the subordinate is going to follow after the king's ways. You know what I'm saying? So for the fact that Esau Edom is still in rulership right now and stuff, for us to pay taxes shows that we're underneath tribute, that we're tributaries. I wanted to get that definition. In the etymology, it says tributary, late 14th century, persons, country, etc., owing obedience or paying tribute or a tax to a sovereign or another people, which that's what's going on, because when it comes down to it, it'd be the so-called forefathers that's on these paper dollar bills or even on the coins. And all of them are what? Caucasians. They the ones who's the head, meaning that we're still underneath those curses, you know what I'm saying, until this day, which is still a sign that we are the nation of Israel, you know. It says, meaning stream that flows into a large body is, you know, pretty much that was the point. You know, somebody who has to pay taxes, you know what I'm saying? Back in Matthew 17 and 27, it says, notwithstanding, lest we should offend them, go down to the sea and cast and hook and take up the fish that first cometh up. And when thou hast opened his mouth, thou shalt find a piece of money. That it says that take and give unto them for me and thee. You know what I'm saying? You know, so yeah, Yahushua had to pay tribute. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it just shows that, you know, righteousness wasn't established upon the earth. That at this time it wasn't the kingdom. You know, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 7. It says, I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. And that all goes back to the strangers shall get the very high of us, you know what I'm saying, of the Israelites, you know, because Esau's and these heathens, you know what I'm saying, they're created servants, man. They created as servants, you know, but the roles are switched. The servants are the ones who's wearing king clothing and being all good and being in the benefit, while the real princes and the real kings are acting as servants. We're in the stead of servants. You know, we're the ones who's working at these places. We're the ones who's actually giving money to all these places. You know what I'm saying? Because we're the consumer. You know, we're not the one who brings forth the product hoping it to be consumed so we can make money. No, that's not us. You know, even if there are jakes that's out there that make a little extra money and stuff, they still underneath the curses. You know, they still gonna, just because they got a bunch of money, there's still gonna be some perpetual hatred that Esau has upon them. If a Jake really try to reach for the stars and stuff, he can only go so far because Esau is not gonna let him have more power than him. You know, go up to verse 5. It says, there is an evil which I have seen under the sun, as an error which proceedeth from the ruler. You know, it says, folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place. You know what I'm saying? And who's rich? Rich in faith. You know what I'm saying? You know, rich in the covenant with Yahweh Shem Yahshua. You know, well, are the Israelites, man. We're the ones living in the ghettos and the slums. You know what I'm saying? You know, hey, the word ghetto means where the Jews dwell, you know, and these are the ones that claiming to be the Jews. They never lived in the hood, you know. They never had to be on the highways and byways to teach their people, let them know that they're in the Lord's state and how to come back to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? You know, uh, they the ones who's putting out the different vibrations of how things are going, man. You know, to commit adultery. You know what I'm saying? To keep the nation of Israel in a low state. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know that we're the nation of Israel. We're the slaves, man. You know what I'm saying? And Esau Edom, and from being the basis of man that's been set up to be set up on high. You know, he's the one that's ruling right now. You know, I got one more. It says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. You know, he covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not where and who is he? You know what I'm saying?
and that's Esau Edom, man. You know, he's categorized as the wicked. You know what I'm saying? And he covered the faces of the judge thereof. You know, with every prophet or even the Most High or even Yahweh Shai, he put his image upon. You know what I'm saying? You know, because he's the one who's the head right now, and we're still the tail until Yahweh Bashim Yahshua comes back and flips this over. You know, and I hope this video was edifying, and I like to give all honor and
Glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to apostles, great millstone, and salutations to the elect, which we hope to be. Shalom and a ball.